Wah, wah. Good morning, Devils fans. We lost last night overtime, 3-2 to Flyers. Yeah, it stunk. Uh, it was a pretty good game. I mean, Jack Hughes had 3 assists, and, Jack Hughes had 1 assist, and then 2 nice passes to Flyers players. Poling had his second best game of his career. Obviously, his very first one with the hat trick is going to be the highlight of his career forever, but popped off in this one to make it interesting in regulation for the Flyers, where I feel like through the first 60, we were the better team. We had the better chances. They scored off of, Jack giving them a beautiful pass right down the middle. Now, some credit to the Flyers. That was a beautiful tic tac play to actually score that first goal for them, but obviously that doesn't happen if Jack doesn't pass it to them. And then our first goal to start off, even before that, was a beautiful play by our fourth line, who was dominant. My God, I mean, if there was any massive positive take out of this game, our fourth line put their foot on the necks of the Philadelphia Flyers, and really for them, we should have gotten the 2 points just from their full effort, start to finish in this one, but not how it played out. Power play showed up as well, which is really good considering how good the penalty kill is for the Flyers. Our penalty kill showed up, which is also really good considering how bad the power play is for the Flyers. And then otherwise, I mean, what's there to say? Team played pretty well, and it was just an error by our best, 2 errors by our best player. He probably could have, should have been able to close that game out in overtime. Him getting hauled down was borderline at best penalty. I mean, it's my understanding that if a stick makes contact with your arm, in this case it was his elbow, from behind and causes you to lose balance, that's a penalty. Now the stick did also make contact with Jack's stick for the stick lift, so I don't know if that negates that in some way. I'm not a complete rules expert, and neither are the refs sometimes, but that's not what lost us the game. It was obviously, Jack passing the puck right over to Tippett, and Tippett making an amazing shot. Does VTech need to have that one? No, not really. I actually felt like VTech wasn't that great, but he didn't get punished on any of his plays where he didn't look that great, whether it was him swimming, giving up rebounds, being out of position. None of those got punished. Basically, all the goals against were off of just some pretty bad turnovers for the most part. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Uh, it's a stinker. It's puts us in a bit more of a precarious position playoff wise, but if you look at the standings, if we just win our games in hand currently, we're in a playoff position. Even if I think we go 1-0-1, we are in a playoff position with games in hand. And we're still only 30 games into the season. There is still a lot of runway. I'd say the teams that are still technically ahead of us in the Caps, and I'm still going to say in the Flyers, are going to fall off a little bit over a full season. I will say, if the Flyers do make playoffs, Torts probably has to win the Jack Adams, right? I know some people are talking about Vancouver or even Boston again, but those are teams that, yeah, Boston was expected to fall off, but they are getting goaltending out the wazoo. Yeah, sure, the Nuts were not expected to be this great, but they're being carried by their top end guys by a lot. The Flyers were expected to be absolute bottom feeders. Now, Coots is obviously coming in and just being like prime vintage Coots. And Torts kind of has that to play with. And yes, Hart has been playing well. But overall, I mean, they are just a grinded out team. They don't give up a lot of chances. They try and keep the game really close. And they edge out a lot of wins that way. And that's coaching. Vancouver is carried by top guys just putting out otherworldly performances because they are elite players. Boston has some of that with Pasternak and has the best goalie tandem in the entire league. Not much coaching goes into goaltending. That's on the goalie coach, but they're not up for the Jack Adams. It's real. Torts is doing that heavy lifting there for the Flyers, and so I think he would be the absolute wrong coach for this team, by the way, for people that were saying we should have gotten him. No, not at all. But for the type of setup that the Flyers are currently in, he works really great if, I guess if you want to be fighting for the playoffs, which, I mean, if you can actually make it, sure. But Flyers probably would have been better off tanking it out this year, getting another high draft pick, and then doing something like this once Mitchkov come over, give him a bit more of a support system. But hey, that's not much of my concern. I have no problem with the Flyers putting themselves more into a middling position and not stacking up as much high end talent as they could through the draft. Yeah, fourth line was absolutely stupendous. I thought the defense played fairly well. The Siegenthaler play on the 2-on-1 was just not it. I mean, he went to go take the pass away, but if you're playing the pass, you have to take the pass. Let the guy take the clean shot, trusting your goaltender to save it. Instead, the pass got through, and it's the tying goal, the second goal there for the Flyers. Beyond that, I thought Nemec had a fantastic game. I mean, he had some insane seam passes, some great reads. His 3-on-1 play in the overtime where he had the great chance set up by Jack and Bratt doesn't go in. It's 3-on-1 going back the other way, and I thought he played it stupendously. He basically took out drove the Flyers player to the outside. I believe that was also Tippett, but whoever drove the Flyers player to the outside to cut down on the angle while also somehow taking away both pass options uh, where the pass had to go back against the seam. And again, he just relied on his goalie to make a save, and it was a very low danger shot. That was stupendous 3-on-1 defensive play. Rest of our lines, the third line. Oh my goodness. I've said this since the moment I saw it in practice for the first time, and I've said it again now. The Mercer Holtz Timo line just does not work. It just doesn't. Please stop. Please stop one day. It is so bad. Now, if we were fully healthy, or Timo was fully healthy and prime Timo, I could see the thought process, especially if Mercer was firing on all cylinders. But those guys are underperforming, and Holtz is not a play driver. He's done some really great work off the puck. We've seen what he's done in the offensive zone, but he's not a play driver. He's not going to do that for that line. Please, for the love of goodness, just switch that up. Move Holla back down. Move Timo up with Jack. If you had to move Holtz up with Jack, would honestly be my move. Let Holtz get some playing time with Jack and Bratt even. Or if you feel like you need the heavier presence with the Foley, that is perfectly fine too. Give Timo back to Nico and Bratt then in that case. Drop Holla to the third line with Mercer. Heck, you can bump Mikey up and then... or no, don't do that. Keep Mikey in the fourth line. Actually, ideally it would be Mikey third line center with Palat and Holla, and then Mercer centering Lazar and Bastian would be my go-to. Now, are they going to do that? Absolutely not. Mercer is not going to move to the fourth line, even though I've said it probably should have been looked at or tried, at least at some point so far. But, realistically, I know it's never going to happen. Just want to give you guys what I would personally do, but they don't listen to me. Barely anyone does. The top line had top six had some great chances. I mean, Nico had multiple net front stuff chances. I thought that line played okay, pretty well, but nothing insane. No absolute guaranteed bonkers scoring chances, but it was pretty close. I thought the Jack line looked pretty good, but not dominant. Again, I still don't think Holla's the best fit there. And I've said it a million times. We know what Jack did. Jack knows what Jack did. Lindy said Jack knows what Jack did. You don't need to talk to him about it. You don't have to remind him or coach him around that. He knows. He is an elite player. I'm going to go ahead. I think that's really it. Flyers are just a frustrating team to play against. Torts, like I said, he's done a fantastic job in having this team play in a way that with the talent that they have, they can edge out games like this. And they've done it through 30 plus. And will they continue it over another 50? We'll see. I still don't think so, but we'll see. So anyone I didn't really touch on, like I said, Vitek, I touched on the defenseman. I thought Ball played pretty well. Marino was okay. Siegs has got to be better. Nemec has been great. Luke was fine. Good, even, but not great. Power play was good for him as always, but I'm more so looking at the 5-on-5 play. Fourth line, amazing. Third line, not. Top six was fine, but could have been better, but nothing to hate on. And that really covers it then, I guess. So, yeah. It's looking, as far as an update on Dougie, it looks like he might be out for the season, according to, I believe it was Elliot Friedman or one of the insiders. So maybe at some point he'll move to LTIR as we get closer to trade deadline, and we could go big fish hunting with all that cap space. That'd be pretty fun. And I would love to see what the roster looks like if we can do that. And then Dougie comes back for playoffs, and we pull off a Tampa, Vegas, Chicago, where we use LTIR, even though that's how it's meant. It's not cap circumvention. That is how it works in the rules. So you play by the rules, and that's how it is. Yeah, gonna go ahead and call it there. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, as always, and forever. Let's go Devils.